June. How's everybody doing? I'm coming back at you with another interesting video. I've been on YouTube looking at various different videos, and a lot of the black people are talking about, particularly the ones that talk about racism a lot on a continual basis. They're making the point that black people cannot be racist. And it's kind of an ongoing debate between certain white people and certain black people on YouTube that the white people saying that yes, black people in fact can be racist, and black people are saying that black people cannot be racist. So I thought that I would, address that and cover that topic on here and kind of give an explanation as to why black people feel that they cannot be racist. First of all, though, I am going to read a definition. I looked up the definition, the exact definition of racist, and here in the new, it's different. It's different for different dictionaries. I looked in the New American Webster Handy College Dictionary, and I think this is my son's dictionary. It says here that racism is prejudice against certain people. Just that simple. I googled it, and when I googled it, it said the belief that another race of people is superior um, than the other race. Racism. If you're racist, you believe that you are superior. Your race is superior over another race, and racial and they did also said racial discrimination against another race of people. They also threw that term in there as well. So with that being said, I thought I looked that up and find the exact term of it. Um, Now black people are saying that we cannot be racist based on the fact that, okay, I'm gonna explain to some of you white people out there why black people say that. Black people don't think that black people can be racist is because they um, they feel that we don't have the power to discriminate against white people. Now, part of the definition of racism, one of the definitions I read was discrimination against another race. Well, um, they making the point that we as black people don't have the power to discriminate against white people because we don't own anything. We don't own anything. We're not running anything. We don't own any major corporations. We don't run the governments. As a whole, as a whole, black people do not run anything. I mean, you have black people, small business owners. You might have a few black corporations, but as a whole, black people as a whole, as collectively as a whole, do not run anything. I mean, we don't run the governments. We don't we don't make laws. We don't enforce. I mean, well, we excuse me. We most of us try to enforce the law, but we don't make the laws. We don't. We're not in a position. Most majority of us is not in a position of governmental power. Most of us don't own major corporations. Um, like when you go in the store and you pick up anything from toothpaste to cereal or soap, 9 times out of 10, the owner of those companies are not going to be an African American. 9 times out of 10, those owners of those corporations will be Caucasian people. And black people are not, as a whole, are not passing the laws or anything like that. Essentially, black people have no power. Essentially, for the most part, as a whole, African American people do not have any power in this country, um, economic or politically or any other type of power like that. So the point that a lot of black people are making is that because we have no power collectively as a whole, we don't have the power to discriminate against white people. Like, we don't have the power to um, take jobs away from white people, because it's like what I said in some of my other videos. 9 times out of 10, when like when I go get a job, when I go look for a job, I have to go outside of my community to find that job. When I get a job, 9 times out of 10, that the owner of the company is not going to be of someone of my own race. I have to go outside of my community to get a job. I cannot get a job within my community. But white people, when they go to get a job, 9 times out of 10, they don't have to go outside their community as a whole. They don't have to go outside of their community to find that job. And 9 times out of 10, when they get hired in a company, the owner of that company is someone of their own race. And so, because of that, we don't have the power to, as a whole, we don't have the power to take jobs away from white people, or control the hiring and the firing as a whole. I'm not talking about here and there. I'm talking about as a whole, as a collective. Um, and the thing is, when we go outside of our community to go work at a Caucasian corporation or business, um, they have the power to hire and fire us. They have the power to discriminate against us. They have the power to enforce discrimination against us, because they are in a position of power in that company. They own the company, and then other people that look like them that work for the company has the power to um, make or break that black person. I've experienced that myself firsthand, so I know what I'm talking about. I've experienced it on my last job, essentially. So, so um, black people. That's why black people are saying that they don't have the power to be racist. Now, like I said, the initial definition was feeling like another race is superior. Um, you know, and the question is, do black people feel that they are superior to white people? That's the question to be posed. In most cases, I would say no. I would say in most cases, no, black people do not feel that they are superior to white people. There might be some black people that feel that way, but in most cases, most black people, I don't think that most black people feel that way. I certainly don't feel that way. A lot of black people don't feel that way. Um, and black people are basically speaking out about injustice. You know, when black people talk about, like, there's certain black people here on YouTube that talk about racism. Their whole MO is they're talking about racism. And, they kind of do it in a blatant type way. And, in a and sometimes it gets derogatory. And then white people look at those videos and they say, well, they're a racist. Because look at what they're saying about, sometimes it kind of goes into a little name calling sometimes, or whatever, and it gets derogatory. And then white people will look at those videos and say, well, they're a racist. And um, if that black person, um, I don't know. It says you think another race people are superior over yours. If that black person feels that the black race is superior over the white race, then yeah, I guess according to the definition, yes, they can be racist. But a lot of times, the thing is, this is the thing. White people accuse black people of being racist simply because of the fact that black people are speaking the truth. Black people are speaking the truth about injustices that's done to black people. And because black people are speaking out about it, and black people are essentially speaking the truth about racism and what's going on, because there's a lot of institutionalized racism, and a lot of black people are speaking out against that. Um, White people think this because black people are speaking out against it that they're racist. They misconstrue that to think that they're trying to say that black people are superior. And they're not saying that black people are superior. They're just basically talking about the injustices that black people have to endure living in a racist country, because America is in fact a racist country, and black people are speaking out about the injustices, about racism that's going on. And because they speak out about those injustices does not necessarily make them a racist. It doesn't make them a racist. They're not saying that black people are superior to white people. That's not what they're saying. They're just basically, it's like I used the parable in one of my other videos of a woman getting raped. If a woman gets raped and after that she goes on a crusade, and she goes on a public crusade, and she speaks out against women being raped and all this stuff, does that make her a feminist? Would you call her a feminist because she's speaking out about the injustice of women being raped? Does that make her a feminist? Of course not. Of course it doesn't make her a feminist. She's just speaking out about the injustices of a woman getting raped. Women get raped, and then they go through a process of where they blame the victim. They ask her what she had on and all this kind of stuff, and was she dating the guy? Did she know the guy? And they ask her 50 million questions, and she basically emotionally and mentally gets raped all over again. It's like the system's way of trying to blame the victim. And so if the woman goes on a crusade and she speaks out against that, does that make her a feminist? No, of course not. She's just speaking out against the victimization of the system against women that are being raped. And so that's basically, I like to use that as a parable. That's basically what most black people that speak out against racism. I sometimes speak out against racism on my channel. We're not saying that we're superior to white people, because that's the definition of racism. They say that if you think another race is superior, it also says discrimination against another race. Now that part, black people are telling the truth. We don't have the power to discriminate against white people. Collectively as a whole, we don't have the power to discriminate against white people. Let's face facts. White people have no power. Black people, excuse me. Black people have no power in this country. We have no economic power. We have no political power. Black people have no power. We don't have the power to discriminate against white people as a collective. We don't. But white people have the power to discriminate against us. That's the difference. They have the power to take their racial prejudices and use those prejudices to discriminate against us. Black people don't have the power to do that to white people. We simply don't. It's a fact. It is a fact. We don't have the power to do that to white people. We don't have the power to keep you out of certain neighborhoods, to keep you from buying a house in a certain neighborhood. We don't have the power to decide whether you get so many years for this crime or whatever. We don't have the power to do that. We don't have the power to, say that you're hired or say that you're fired, or we don't have the power to, once you get hired, to fire you. See, a white person can essentially get a black person fired on the job. I know because a white person almost got me fired on my last job. But if you flip that the other way around, it's not going to go down like that. A black person, because the owner of the company is a Caucasian person. So they not about to let you fire their people. They're not about to let you do that. They're not about to let you get their people fired. It's not going to go down like that. So that's basically what a lot of black people are talking about. We don't have the power to do these things. We don't have the power to enact institutionalized racism. There is institutionalized racism. Well, black people don't have the power to enforce institutionalized racism against white people because we have no power. So that's basically what black people are talking about when black people are saying that we can't be racist. Can we be prejudiced? Yes, we can be prejudiced. Now, if a black person feels like, according to the definition, that the black race is superior to the white race, then I guess you can argue that they are racist. But white people are calling black people racist simply because black people are speaking the truth about injustices. People are speaking the truth about racism, and because they're speaking about the truth about racism, then white people are calling them a racist. And they're not saying that black people are better than white people. They're just basically speaking about the injustice. Now, can some of them use more tact? Yeah, some of them can use more tact, and they can probably do it without the insults. But if you insult a person of another race, that some can argue, well, yeah, you're being racist, yeah. But the definition of racism is feeling like one race is superior over another. That's the definition that I read. And discrimination. The one I read on Google said also discrimination. Black people don't have the power to discriminate against white people, and unless a black person actually thinks that black people are superior to white people, then yeah, you could argue that yeah, they might be a racist. But most black people, when they're speaking out about injustices, they're not saying that black people are superior to white people. That's not what they're saying at all. They're just basically speaking out about racism. They're speaking out about injustice of racism. That's not being a racist. It's like I used the parable of a woman being raped. If she goes out on a crusade and she talks about the injustices of women being raped, does that make her a feminist? No, it doesn't make her a feminist. She's not a feminist. She's just speaking out about the injustices of being raped, of women being raped. Plain and simple. It's just like anything else. If you're a homeowner and you get your house broken into, you go out on a crusade, you speak out against people breaking into your house. Does that make you, I don't know, does that make you biased against the police? No, it just means that you're speaking out against people. Homeowners got rights. Homeowners got the right to, not have their house broken into. That does it mean you're against the police? No. It just means that you're speaking out against, you're standing up for homeowners' rights. You're standing up against the injustices against homeowners. I'm just using that as a parable. So, one has nothing to do with the other, And so black people get, like I said, I did a video talking about that. Black people get accused of being racist simply because they're speaking out about racism. That does not make black people jealous. Jealous. That does not make black people racist. Discrimination against another race, which was part of the definition, black people do not have that is true. Black people don't have the power to discriminate against white people. Black people just don't have the power to do that. So that's the reason why black people say that we can't be racist. And if a black person is biased against a white person and is saying a lot of negative things about white people, it's because they're angry. It's because they're angry. But if a white person is saying a bunch of stuff about black people, it's because why are you angry at black people? Black people commit crimes mostly against their own people. So black people are. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying any of this is right, but I'm just trying to shed some, give some reasons. If black people are saying negative things or whatever about white people, it's probably because 9 times out of 10 they're angry. They're angry about the injustices against black people and the fact that the playing field is just not level. It's not level. It doesn't make it right. No, nobody has the right to call anybody names. Like I said, the people that talk about racism in a derogatory way, they could probably do it in a more tactful way. But it's because they're angry. That's basically it. They're angry. Black people are angry. Black people are angry about racism. Black people. This is 2017, and black people are getting tired of this continual cancer of racism. I'm angry about it. I have to pray every day. I have to pray continuously. I have to pray constantly to ask Jehovah God to help me with my anger, because I get angry about racism. You know, I'm a black person. I get angry about it. This is 2017. This should not continue to go on, but it's still going on. And so black people are angry about it. Some black people are very passionate and very vocal about it. You know, and that make them racist? No, they're not saying that black people are superior to white people. They're just basically saying that they're angry, they're sick and tired of racism, and they're angry, and they're tired of being black people being treated like that, and they're just saying it in a blunt way. And so, according to that definition, if a black person is coming on YouTube and they're saying, "Oh, black people," you know, actually come out and say black people are, you know, superior to white people, then I guess you could argue that they're racist. But in most cases, black people aren't saying that. In most cases, black people are just speaking out about injustices. They're speaking out against racism. And speaking out against racism does not make you racist. I said that, made that clear in one of my other videos. So let me know in the comment section what you think. I thought maybe I'd, you know, give a little take, address that, give a little take on it, my take on it. Um, Kind of shed some light and give you some understanding as to why black people say that and why it's being said. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. This is Sweet June.